Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I'm going to go my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off the night, we have Liv Morgan coming out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Liv talks about Crown Jewel. Jay Cargill is here as well as Bianca Belair. Belair talks about winning at Crown Jewel as well as Liv Morgan. Liv then mocks Jade and Belair. Adam Pearce is here. Belair then smacks Liv Morgan. Then Pearce announces that there will be a battle royal for the new number one contender for the women's title, which gets us right into our first official match of the night. It is a women's battle royal, number one contendership for the women's championship. I thought it was an okay matchup, back and forth matchup. Io, Valkyria, Jade, and Belair were the final four in the match. Liv and Raquel eliminate Jade and Belair. Io and Valkyria were the final two, with Io eliminating Valkyria, which allowed Io to win the match. Hats off to Io for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Wyatt 6 video package. It was played during a backstage segment. Video shows Miz pretty much taken by the Wyatt 6. Uncle Howdy says that they are not after the Final Testament. They were after the Miz all along. Moving on from that, Goldberg. Goldberg's in the news. Goldberg announces that he will have his final retirement match in WWE in 2025. Moving on from that, we have a tag team matchup. It's the New Day versus the War Raiders. I thought it was a good match, back and forth matchup between the New Day and the War Raiders, with the New Day keeping the pace of the match, but the War Raiders hit the finish, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are the War Raiders. Hats off to the War Raiders for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. He talks about Crown Jewel. After that, he's interrupted by Jey Uso. Jey Uso thanks Zayn for having his back. Jimmy Uso is here as well. Jimmy Uso walks out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Jimmy says that Zayn hit Roman on purpose. Jimmy says that Zayn can't be trusted. Zayn then wonders if Jimmy can be trusted. Zayn says that he doesn't hate Jimmy. Jimmy just makes bad decisions. Zayn says that Crown Jewel felt like the old times, but he also says that he's out. Jay then asks Zayn to come to SmackDown to try to work things out with Roman. Jay says that Zayn is family, and hopefully that he'll see Sami Zayn at SmackDown. A lot of interesting stuff there with Sami Zayn. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable. I thought it was a good match, man. Probably match of the night. Back and forth matchup between Lee and Gable, with Lee keeping the pace of the match. Lee and Gable both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Gable throwing Lee off the apron to the outside. Lee gets up, hits a powerbomb on Gable. Mysterio is here, which allowed Lee to hit the finish on Gable, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Dragon Lee. Hats off to Dragon Lee for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our main event of Monday Night Raw. It's a number one contendership matchup, a fatal 4-way for the heavyweight championship. It is Damian Priest versus Sheamus versus Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup with Rollins keeping the pace of the match. Sheamus hits a white noise for a near fall. Rollins hits a pedigree in the middle of the ring. Bronson Reed is here. Reed attacks Sheamus as well as Seth Rollins. Reed then hits a Death Valley driver on Priest. Reed then hits a tsunami on Priest and Sheamus in the middle of the ring. Reed then hits a tsunami off the barricade through a table on Rollins. Dominic Mysterio then hits a frog splash off the top rope as well as a 619, but Priest hits a choke slam, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match and new number one contender for the World Heavyweight title is Damian Priest. A couple of things I want to talk about, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw before I get the hell up out of here. Number one, was it a good show? No. I think the issue is this. If you look at Monday Night Raw for the past couple weeks, man, Monday Night Raw has been a tape show. You know, they spent about, 3.5 weeks over in Saudi Arabia for the Crown Jewel show, so obviously the weekly episodic television has not been live for either Raw or SmackDown. So Raw and SmackDown have kind of been hurting a little bit as far as it being live and, it not being taped. But like I said to you guys the other day, I know a lot of people don't like the Crown Jewel events, and some people feel like it's a waste of time. But like I said, for a business standpoint, I can understand the revenue that WWE makes from going over to Saudi Arabia to have these Crown Jewel shows. They make a lot of money. They make a lot of money, a lot of revenue from doing these shows. They probably made also a lot of revenue when they had Monday Night Raw, or they tape Monday Night Raw Sunday night. They probably also made a lot of revenue off that show alone because the show was sold out. So, and they made history. I mean, they also had, that was the first, I believe, Monday Night Raw that was in Saudi Arabia as well. So, obviously, like I said, from a business standpoint, they make a lot of money having these crown jewel events over in Saudi Arabia. So they make their money, by far, absolutely. But does it hurt Raw and SmackDown? Yeah, it does. I mean, I think hopefully we can get back towards, Raw and SmackDown being live. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks that will happen. Now that they're, going to be going back on the road again and not being in Saudi Arabia. But it does hurt Raw and SmackDown with them not being live, in my honest opinion. Now, I'll say this. I mean, I think the biggest focal point, unfortunately, and it's kind of, running itself into Raw and SmackDown, is the Bloodline. The Bloodline is the biggest storyline of all professional wrestling right now. And then Sami Zayn coming into the fold, he's kind of the wild card in all this. Sami Zayn having that segment on Raw last night, trying to answer why he did what he did to help out Jay, and obviously the hula kick that he was going to hit, that he hit on Roman Reigns. A lot of people want to know where Sami Zayn's mindset into all this. So to me, it looks like Sami Zayn is going to be the fourth guy to join Roman Reigns' original bloodline, and obviously for what it's worth, I'm all for it. I think it's a little bit nostalgia, and I think some fans, including myself, at times do like the nostalgia of pro wrestling. And I think the fact that we can see the original bloodline go up against the new bloodline is absolutely awesome. And if Zayn can reunite with Roman, and you bring in, Sami Zayn with Roman and Jimmy and Jay, it'd be great, man. Even if they brought back Paul Heyman, I mean, it writes itself, to be honest with you. And I think Survivor Series this year is going to be absolutely insane. I think it's at the end of November. It's going to be awesome. I think it's November 30th. I think in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be a great show, man. I think, Survivor Series, the War Games, the whole dynamic of the War Games setup, it's awesome. And I think that, hopefully we start getting the build here towards Survivor Series, because they got about roughly, 4 weeks leading up to Survivor Series. So they got plenty enough time to have enough build and lead up towards Survivor Series, which I'm all for. But, I mean, like I said, do I think Raw last night was the worst Raw episode I've ever seen? No. But it damn sure was not the best either. Obviously with them not being live, like I said earlier, it does kind of hurt, Raw and SmackDown as far as episodic television is concerned. But I'm not going to sit here and say that all because Raw, obviously they were over there for Crown Jewel, Raw's, hurting, and SmackDown's hurting, and we're going to go back to the, what it used to be. No, that's not going to happen. But like I said, there was a lot of interesting things with Raw last night. I mean, obviously, the main vocal point being Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn was the main focus of last night's Monday Night Raw, because everybody wanted to hear what Sami Zayn's rebuttal was going to be and why he did what he did and why he was out there to help, Jimmy and Jay and Roman Reigns. And a lot of people wanted to know what was going on, what was the mindset of Sami Zayn going into that and helping out the original bloodline. Also, there was some other small things into the, Monday Night Raw last night. Goldberg was another talking point last night. Goldberg announces that he will have his one last retirement match in WWE next year. Who that will be, who knows? There's still a lot of things up in the air as far as Goldberg. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, am I super, super excited for Goldberg's retirement match? No, I'm not. I think Goldberg, that well's run dry. There's really nothing. There's not going to be a whole lot of excitement, in my honest opinion, for Goldberg's last match, to be honest with you. But he will have his retirement match in WWE in 2025 next year. So, again, if you guys are looking forward to that, that will happen and take place next year. But like I said, I mean, Monday Night Raw, the one thing they did good was the slow build-up towards Survivor Series, especially when it pertains to the Bloodline storyline. You can see those small pieces and small ingredients getting added into the storyline, man. And I've been preaching this for the past couple weeks, past couple months, that, the Bloodline storyline is, if not the best storyline in all of professional wrestling right now. And it's like a fine wine, man. I mean, you got to look. This Bloodline storyline as a whole has been going on for the past 2 to 3 years. And it's progressively got better. They progressively added more people with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga Tangaloa. And then now you have the original Bloodline bringing back with Roman and Jimmy and Jay, and now Sami Zayn. So, I mean, and then Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson coming back at Bad Blood. So there's still a lot of questions that we still want answers to. And I think we're slowly going to start getting that here as the weeks go on, leading up towards Survivor Series, which I'm absolutely excited for. I think Survivor Series is going to be absolutely insane. The other thing I want to talk about quickly, even though it does not pertain to Monday Night Raw specifically, I did want to talk a little bit about NXT. Now, I'm not going to cover the show, but what I will say is this. NXT goes head-to-head with AEW tomorrow night, where NXT will go live 8 to 8 with AEW Dynamite. The difference between the two shows is that NXT will be at none other than the 2300 Arena the home of ECW. Now, from what I understand, the show is stacked. Bully Ray is coming over. He's going to be tag teaming up with the current NXT World Heavyweight Champion, Trick Williams. I heard RVD might also be there. Dawn Marie will also be there. Some ECW alumni will be there as well. I think it's going to be a really good show. So I wanted to get that out there to let people know that, hey, if you guys got the CW network, check out NXT this weekend, tomorrow night, man, because I think NXT is going to be insane. I will be covering AEW Dynamite, but I think, if things pan out the way I think they're going to pan out, AEW might be in trouble tomorrow as far as the ratings are concerned, man, because NXT is hyping up this show in the original ECW arena, the 2300 arena in Philly. So it's going to be a crazy, crazy show for NXT, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, again, man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Hopefully Dynamite can kind of compete a little bit, if you will, with NXT, but who knows, man. The last time that NXT and AEW kind of went head-to-head, NXT, and the ratings-wise, they destroyed AEW. So we'll see if Tony Khan can pull something together and kind of compete with the ratings with NXT, but right now I don't think it's looking that good. But I just want to let you guys know that NXT will be live, what I understand, for the 2300 Arena, the former home of ECW, which is going to be a crazy, impactful night. And again, it's definitely going to be one of those nights where it cannot miss. But again, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw, that's why we're all here. Like I said, it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't a great show. And obviously, it does hurt Raw a little bit with them not being live. And hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, they can go back to being live again and really have this strong build and lead up towards Survivor Series, which I'm definitely looking forward to. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.